Hello all, welcome back to Shaving with Peg Leg. Yeah, that's me. Alright, excuse me. Head shave today. Gonna be using the Muhle Companion razor. I like this razor. They sell it as a body shave razor. They sell it for women to shave their legs, men to shave their legs, arms, chest, back, ass, balls, whatever. But it does work very, very well for a head shaver for me. And the soap, and I'm still trying to get used to it, it's Chiseled Face Bay Rum. It's not bad, it's just I don't know if it's really in my wheelhouse that I want to slap on my face. You know what I mean? Got my big mouth coffee mug. Got my TanZ, Turner by TanZ 26 millimeter Joker brush. And we're gonna whip some lather. Oh, I should have shook the brush out a little bit more. I might need more soap. This is coming out kind of thin. Oh, it's not kind of thin, it's a lot thin. I didn't shake the brush out enough. And that will happen on occasion. Well, maybe it's okay. No, it's firming up. So I got the sample of the soap and I've got the sample of the aftershave splash. Oh, guys. Horrible day, horrible day. I was watching a football game, Bucks in Pittsburgh, and I've never seen a team, and they keep doing this all year. They'll get a team to 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 1, and they'll stop them. They'll force them to punt. The team has a 3rd and 10, a 3rd and 11, 3rd and 14, 3rd and 17, 3rd and 21, and they give up the first down. How in the do you do that? How do you stop them on a 3rd and 1 consistently and allow them to get 3rd and 17? How? How? You had one job. Mega frustrating. Very much so. Hang on a second, I gotta change towels out. I have one towel that I keep over here for like drying my brush on and wiping my razor down after I wash it to dry it off. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. And after I've used it a couple times for that, you know, flip-flopped it and everything, I rotate it out and I turn it into wipe the soap off my head towel. Just rotation. No pre-shave. Chiseled face. Actually, I'm going to stick that mug into warm water because this soap is kind of cold. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But if you got a chance, I prefer it warm. For a blade, I'm using a 3rd use Statum blade. I like those blades. Those are nice blades. And they're cheap too. Alright. Here we go. Still got something in my eye. Alright. Companion. 3rd use Statum blade. That's these, if you didn't know it. These. Don't mind me, I'm a mess. I'm better than I was yesterday. Yesterday I could not get my mind to function clearly. So it was like, you know how you wake up and you haven't had your coffee yet and you're kind of like, you're just going through the motions until you start with. I was like that all day yesterday. My mind just was like, nope, this isn't going to work. We're not doing this. Go away. It wasn't that I was tired. My mind just didn't want to focus on anything. I was just like, nope, not doing it. Sorry. I mean, I haven't got much of my mind left. As it is. You can hear this razor cutting, and I like a razor with good audio feedback. And on my dome, there's blade feel with this razor too. You can feel the blade. That's why you want to be nice and careful with this razor. Okay, so what happened on October 16th? In 1829. Pretty good. Come on, guys. You got to help me out here. 1829, October 16th. What happened? Come on. Come on. Come on. Shoot something at me. Give me a clue. Help me out. Okay, well, since you don't know, you guys ain't no help. The first, what is considered modern day hotel opened in Boston. It was called the Tremont. And that was the picture that was in the beginning, before I started yakking. That was the picture you saw of the hotel, the Tremont. It's the Tremont House. It's considered the first modern day hotel. It was on the corner of Tremont and Beacon Streets in Boston, called the Tremont Hotel. It had site of luxurious first. This was the first hotel to have these things. Free soap, locked guest rooms, bellboys, a reception area, and perhaps most important of all, indoor plumbing in each room. Well, wait a minute. It doesn't say that in each room. I threw that in. It might not be each room. It might have been just at the end of the hall. But it had indoor plumbing, and it was a first. Hotels back then did not have indoor plumbing. Everybody was an outdoors plumber. You drained your plumbing outside. It was a first. And it did have indoor toilets. All right. There was a big toast of important men in Boston when it opened in the dining room. They had a big party and big toasting, and they toasted world travelers such as Christopher Columbus, Edward Everett, and They toasted travelers and the father of all travelers, Christopher Columbus. Edward Everett, a member of Congress at the time, was quoted in the Bostonian as saying, "In the erection of this hotel, the Bostonians have certainly shown that they think the worshipful company of travelers ought to be well bestowed as circumstance admit. In modern words," he was saying, "wealthy men can come here and go all out." People that have stayed at the hotel, famous people, were Charles Dickens, President Andrew Jackson, President John Tyler, Daniel Webster, and Davy Crockett. Dickens wrote about the hotel. The hotel, a very excellent one, is called the Tremont House. It has more galleries, colonnades, piazzas, and passages than I can remember or the reader would believe. All right, the hotel was open from 1829 to 1893. It was closed in 1893, and it was torn down in 1895. Bastards. Another piece of history gone. But they didn't think about those things back then. And they put up an office building. And then years later, that was torn down and another building was put up. And there's a bank on that corner now. There's another office building, but the bank is the primary feature on that corner. But it had indoor toilets, which were unheard of, because everybody used an outhouse. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen the movies where they had a chamber pot. In people's houses, they had chamber pots. And also in hotels, they had chamber pots. But a chamber pot was only used to relieve your bladder. You did not take a dump in a chamber pot, okay? That stink would be in that room forever. You did not dump in a chamber pot. You use that to relieve your bladder in the middle of the night. If you had to take a dump, you put your clothes on and you marched your ass out to the outhouse. Now, an outhouse back then, usually hotels, if a town had its own standing hotel, that it was a freestanding building, it had its own outhouse out back. But if you're talking about like you see in the westerns, where the saloon had rooms to rent upstairs and that's all they had for a hotel, as you've seen in westerns, and this is true, they'd have a line of shops. They'd have a saloon, they'd have the hardware store, they'd have the general store, they'd have the barber, they'd have a lawyer's office, a doctor's office, whatever. They had that row, it had everything in it. They only had one outhouse for all those buildings, and you had to go 20 to 50 yards behind those buildings to the outhouse. You did not want to put it any closer because the stench from it would get into the buildings. It had to be a little ways away. So they put it 20 to 50 yards back. That's where you went and took your dump. And use a corn cob to stick it up your ass and wipe your ass. You didn't stick it up your ass, you dragged it down your ass crack. And the little holes where the corn kernels were in the cob would pick up the poop. Alright. But indoor plumbing did not start to become a thing in the United States until the 1840s. And that was mainly in the cities. Smaller rural towns did not have it. It was mainly for the big cities. Because the big cities ran out of outhouse room. So they needed to find some way to get rid of waste. So they came up with underground tubes or tunnels, ditches, whatever, and indoor plumbing in the 1840s. they started putting indoor plumbing in the major cities. And in 1940, 100 years later, nearly half the homes in the United States, 1940, 1 year before the U.S. entered World War II, nearly half the homes in the United States still did not have indoor plumbing. And you sit there and you think, really? 1940? Yeah, the article I was reading says that they estimate that half the homes in the United States did not have indoor plumbing in 1940. And only 1/3 had a flush toilet. Have you guys seen the modern toilets that they have? And the tank is like up here, the seat is down here, and then the tank is way up here, and then it's got the pipes that run down to the toilet. That's how toilets used to be. They used the gravity feed of the water falling out of the tank to flush the toilet. That's how they used to do it. Sorry, I gotta get the back of my head. And I want to concentrate on that as opposed to yakking, because this thing does have blade feel. And I do like my skin. I abuse my skin sometimes. Not like that. But I still like it. You guys are something else. Okay, I still got my trouble spots to do. But could you imagine 1940, which was what? 80 years ago? Half the houses in the United States still didn't have indoor plumbing. Ooh, the lather's nice and warm now. I like this. But yeah, that hotel was the first one to have indoor plumbing in 1829. In all major cities, all of them, United States, Europe, everywhere. Before plumbing was even thought of. Well, you had a wash basin. There was a tub about yay big around, about yay deep. And you had a big pitcher, and they kept water in it to wash your hands and your face, and you could shave out of it, do whatever out of it. And then you had your chamber pot that was usually in the corner of the room that you relieved your bladder into. And if you were in a hotel, when the maid came around, they would empty your chamber pot. They would take it and rinse it out, which usually included a rinse out of a chamber pot. Usually, they took it to the hand pump, pumped a couple of things of water in it, swished it, and threw it, and dumped it. And that was it. Your chamber pot was clean. But you're just rinsing pee out of it anyway, so it didn't really matter. But it wasn't, they didn't scrub it out every time. I can tell you one house that I personally know of. It had indoor plumbing. Don't get me wrong. They had the old hand pump in the kitchen. And they used wash basins and a chamber pot in the bathroom. It had a bathroom. It just did not have indoor plumbing yet. And there was a chamber pot. And they also had an outhouse. I remember that hand pump in the kitchen so well because it was my grandparents' house. Did not have indoor plumbing as we know it today until 72, because the farmhouse was so far off the grid, they didn't run the city sewer lines or water lines or electricity out that far. We were by ourselves, way the hell out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and they don't run the power to you then. If you wanted electricity, you had to pay for all the poles to be put up and the lines to be strung for you to get power. You had to pay for that. They didn't just do it out of the kindness of their heart. Another family that owned a farm up the street, but across on the other side of the street from us, some of their farm was up there. They sold that land off, and there was houses built onto it. So when they did that, they ran power up the street, and when they did that, my grandparents could tap into it. But all we had was the hand pump, and we used to have to keep a 1-quart mason jar full of water next to the hand pump in case the pump lost its prime. You pour the water into it to get the pump reprimed. But we did not until 1972 when we got electricity run down the street. Did we have an electric pump in the basement to pull the water out of our well into the house and allow us to have a flush toilet in the house. We had an outhouse. When I tell you that they didn't have the outhouse close to those buildings in the Old West, it was at least 20 to 50 yards behind them. And they only had one for all those buildings because that's the way it was. And it was at least 20 to 50 yards back because of the stink. Believe me, you put it that far away because of the stink. Trust me, I've smelled an outhouse. I've had to backfill the hole and move an outhouse with my grandfather. We used to have, there's a few of us that helped him. You dig a hole and you drag, the outhouse was basically on a skiff. It was on skids. And you dragged it to the next hole and you used the hole you dug, the dirt you dug from that hole to backfill the other hole that you just vacated, and you filled it in on top. And every time that dirt hit that water, it sent that stench higher into the air. Oh my God. That will make you lose your guts. You will barf like you wouldn't believe. We didn't because we were used to it, but if you were not used to that and you smelled that, you would wrench. You would just lose your guts all over the place. Yes, I grew up on a farm. I keep telling you guys that. Out in the middle of yeah, you know what I'm saying. Out in the middle of nowhere. I'm just not certain about Bay Rum. It's not high on my list. Let me tell you what. I can deal with it, but it's not high on my list. Ooh, just felt something down here, way down here. I better go back and do the back of my neck again. Sometimes I do that. I don't know if you guys that shave your heads, do you not go down far enough close to your shoulders sometimes? Sometimes I'll do that and I'll look in the mirror and all of a sudden I have this hair that's flopping out here. And it's like 3 inches long. It's like, how many times have I missed that sucker? Not a lot. It happens occasionally, but not a lot. But anyways, yeah. 1829, first indoor plumbing, first flush toilet. In a hotel. First flush toilet in a hotel. How about that? In the United States. Prior to that, alum block. Oh, whoa! Like I said, there's blade peel on that. That's skin. You get a half a point to 1 point all over the head because that thing does remove skin. Yeah, all over. It's like half a point to 1 point. All over my damn dome. Not bad though. It's clean, see? Look. That is a good razor. If I had any legs to shave, I'd shave my legs, but I don't. Yeah, I can't believe they closed it. It was open what? 63, 64 years it was open before they closed it. Then they tore it down 2 years later. Which, Hazel? Crying shame. And the construction of that in 1829. I mean, all stairs, no elevators at that time. Alright, like I keep saying, I need to put some hair around that hole so I can find it. Oh, gentlemen. I haven't eaten yet today either. I think I'm going to go do that after I do this. Breakfast was a pot of coffee. Anyways. Alright guys, appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Good shave. What is that right there? You see it? I'm just taking everything off my head now. But I had a patch of hair I missed right there. I don't know how I had that happen. Okay. Put some more of that back on. Alright, that's better. I don't know why I missed that right there. I must have changed the angle too much and missed it. Alright. We'll blame that on operator error because this thing works well. You can feel the blade on it. I must have just changed the angle too much and went too high on the cap or too much onto the safety bar. But I think I probably went too high on the cap and missed it. Missed the blade completely. Alright guys, alright, I appreciate you being here. Now I'm checking my whole damn head looking for more. Alright. Thanks guys, appreciate it. Thanks to new subscribers, thanks for all you good regulars. Don't forget my affiliate link when it hits 20. You guys use that when it hits $25 on that account. I buy a gift card to the razor company, give it away to you guys. Alright, and don't forget the link to the 4 channels in there. If you're not subscribed to them, please do. Just trying to help boost everybody's numbers in the community. Because as far as YouTube communities go, the shaving community is just like, it's like a small fart in the wind in YouTube, our community. It's small compared to a lot of them. Alright, so let's try and help each other out as much as we can. Subscribe to as many as we can, especially the smaller guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you very much. Go enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a good have a good week at work, or a good work week, whichever way you want to say it. But anyways, guys, take care. Done with the babbling fat fool in the camera. You're in the chair next. Happy shaves out there, guys.